What's up, everybody? Welcome to All Day Anime with Gravity Mark II and Malachi 36. How are you guys doing today? We are here on a Sunday, March 28th, 2021. Gravity Mark II, man. How are you doing? What's going on?
Just living the life, man. I'm still on breaks, which is amazing. So I have a lot of time to catch up on games, different anime that I've been putting off. Been trying to learn more Japanese. Getting there. It's definitely a crawl process. It's definitely gonna take a while, but I'll get there eventually.
Heard that.
Anyway, how have you been, man?
Been good. Real life stuff. Been house shopping a bit with my wife. A few houses few houses we had our eyes on, unfortunately, were swept underneath us. We're waiting on an offer, hopefully tomorrow. So, fingers crossed. Anyone that your prayers are welcomed, please, because we would very much would like to try to get a house.
Please get this man a house.
Yes. But fantasy wise, I've been getting caught up on some animes. Some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today. One of the ones in particular is Quintessential Quintuplets, which Ohio is texting me right now. And, I don't know if you're watching Ohio, but, man, we're going to talk about some of this stuff. This episode today is going to have spoilers of all of Season 1, now that Gravity Mark had finished today. So all of Season 1. I actually watched Season 2 last night. I watched all of Season 1 on Friday, and I watched all of Season 2 as of yesterday. And let me tell you, man, it's a good one. It is in the slice of life realm, but it's definitely a good one. So
it is pretty good. And the funny thing is that we didn't even coordinate this either. We didn't even coordinate talking about it. You called me last night. You were like, "Hey, man, I just finished watching all of Season 1 of Quintessential Quintuplets." I'm like, "Oh, it's funny you say that." I'm currently watching it right now, and I'm halfway through the first season. So. Just worked out perfectly.
Yes, it did. For anyone that is currently watching right now live or listening to Anchor or podcast services such as Spotify or anything like that, make sure you guys are checking out our website at www.alwtgaming.com. There you guys can actually get the schedule of how we kind of stream any previous content. If you guys have trouble finding us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, anything like that, it's all there in one hub. But you can also get your merchandise there if you guys go to the About Me section or the About Us section. There's a little tab that says merchandise. You click on that, you guys can get yourself a ALWT shirt, ALW hoodie, a mug, or a face mask. Of course, the more support and the more that we do this, the more stuff we're going to be able to put on the market for sale or anything like that. So check that out. Even if you don't buy anything, it's always good to just to see what we got and see what it is. See if it's something that you guys feng shui. Of course, if you guys are thirsty, Iron Forces don't have it. Raise Energy is a Pepsi, but you guys can go to Rep Sports, reppsports.com, type in ALWT Gaming, and get 15% off your your workout powders, your water supplements, your Rep Sports shirts, or your Raise Energy, which is what I use it for 90% of the time. So be on the lookout for that. Again, that's www.reppsports.com. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive right into this, because the very first topic of today's episode is actually like I just threw it in there just like an hour ago. It's changed up, it's switched up, and for anyone that likes Seven Deadly Sins, the season 4 actually started January 13th. Now, of course, we know that for Netflix, they have a deal with them. They'll probably get it months later, maybe even a year later. Hasn't been on Funimation, hasn't been on Crunchyroll, nothing like that. So where can you watch it? Because KissAnime.ru, which was a site that a lot of people watched free anime at, that's shut down. GoGo Anime doesn't have it. So where can you watch it? We have the answer, because I found it just this morning. Actually, believe it or not, at least episode 1 for Dragon's Wrath or Dragon's Judgment, that's the series, is actually on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Yeah.
What is the quality of this? Can you get it in 1080p?
It's legit looks just like if it was actually from the developers themselves. It might actually be from the developer themselves, to be completely honest with you, just on this person's page. The person's name is, his profile is the anime guy. Okay.
Not to be confused with the anime man.
Yeah, it's the anime guy.
That's not Joey we're talking about.
Yeah, and the website link that you guys can go to is https://www.youtube.com. All that stuff I said before www, you really don't even have to type in, but just want to throw it out there just in case. So www.youtube.com/watch?V $Z as in zebra, D as in dog, LA 3 YHIUQA as an apple. Okay, once again, that is www.youtube.com/watch?V as in Victor, $Z as in zebra, D as in dog, L as in Larry, and that's a capital L just in case it's very particular. A as in apple, 3 YHIUQA as an apple. All right. I actually have yet to see the full thing. It's 24 minutes long for the first episode. I'm going to see if he has more. But that's where you can at least watch episode 1, and it looks absolutely like up to date, straight from Japan, all that good stuff. So I think you guys would highly, if you guys are Seven Deadly Sins fan, which I find it odd if anyone's not, but if you guys are a Seven Deadly Sins fan, you guys definitely want to check that out. Again, that is on YouTube. And hopefully this little thing won't cause a strike for that guy's channel.
Yeah, hopefully not. But full disclaimer, if you guys know of a more official way to find this season, even this episode, please let us know. Always just, as they say, always try to support the official release when you can. Mm-hmm. Honestly, yeah, just support the official release, just so that way these people can actually we can actually support this instead of trying to find little loopholes around it to get it for free, because free stuff is always nice, but if there's something, if there's art out there that you guys really love and that you really appreciate, just try to give something back for them. They're not making this art just cuz this is their career. So again, if there's a more official way to find the season or this episode, please let us know, because I definitely need to catch up on this series.
Yeah. But at the same time, if you guys cannot wait and can't find it anywhere else, then that's where you guys can find the episode of But if you guys can wait, it will be on Netflix later on eventually. We just don't know when that'll be. But in Japan, it did officially release January 13th. 2021. Story number 2, which is topic number 2, really. The first one was a story. This one's a topic. Promise Neverland. Is it really over? Okay. You guys can hear the emotion spewing out of Gravity Mark 2.
That was the dumbest thing. Just let me throw a pencil.
This past Thursday, Friday, depending on what time zone you're in and all that good stuff, it looks like it was the 12th episode or the 11th episode actually of Promise Neverland. 11th episode. I know before this discussion, everything like that, Gravity Mark and Abs 3315, or actually Gravity Mark had said that he looked into it and he saw reviews of people that read the manga and didn't like the way that it ended. So now, fast forwarding to what we just experienced over the weekend, I'm not going to lie to you. I was not expecting. It seems like it's over. It seems like it's over because of how they ended this last episode. The jury's still out unless there's some sort of article out there that's stating that was it. And what I mean by that is if we don't get an episode this week or even the week after, then at that point I would be convinced that what we saw was the end. If it is officially the end, Gravity Mark, what does that do for you? What did do you think that there's... Well, first let me ask you, do you think that there's more episodes or was the last episode the last episode?
You know, the way that they made it seem like the last episode, and honestly after... Like, I'm sorry, I have not... My entire time with Funimation, I've never rated any episodes because I'm just like, I don't really care. This was the only episode I've ever rated. I gave it 1 star because this was dookie. This was absolute dookie. It was so freaking rushed. This episode was so rushed. Honestly, this entire season was just all over the place. It felt like it had no sense of direction whatsoever. It didn't really know what kind of story it wanted to be, what kind of story it wanted to tell. Like, honestly, like, even just like the sides, like the story with Norman and his people, like poisoning an entire town. What were the consequences of that? There was nothing. There were no consequences to that whatsoever. Like, and then they find like that little piece of the pen that the old demon had, and they were just like, oh, look at that. It's a Deus Ex Machina for all of the freaking problems that we had. And then this last episode was just the icing on the shit cake is what it was. Like, they rushed it so much where they're just like, okay, we're going to send you guys to the human world, but we're going to stay over here, and then we're going to have a montage of what you've been doing and then how we're saving the day. Like, there was a dragon. There was a demon dragon. Like, did you not see that? There was a demon dragon with a teeny little demon, like, sitting on top of him, kind of look like hunched over. I'm like, who is that? Is that a dragon? Is that a demon dragon? What is it? I want to know more about that. And it's such a missed opportunity to say this. And I don't know what the production, situation is like in the background. I don't know what it's like. As I will say, as a fan, I'm highly disappointed, just as an anime watcher. But, I hope everything's going okay with the production. But I will say, if the production, actually, wrote this out and put it together, and we're just like, that looks good. Let's put this out there. That wasn't I'm very disappointed. I will say, from some of the things I've been seeing, it sounds like season 3 hasn't been officially picked up yet. It hasn't been officially confirmed, but it sounds like there's no official confirmation that it's set. So as of now, it sounds like there's not really an official time for it to return. They're not really saying whether it's going to return. They haven't really said whether there's going to be a season 3. I know you had mentioned what a season 3 could look like, though, and what you said honestly was really interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So, well, first, before I dive in that, got to throw out a yeet there for for Ohio that's in the chat. Let me go ahead and get that set up real quick. Go throw out that yeet. Let's do it.
Got to throw out that yeet.
Yep. Bam. There we go. There we go.
Boom. There we go.
But yeah. So so I had to go ahead and throw that out there for you, Ohio. Thanks again for joining in, man. We're going to be talking about quintessential quintuplets. I know you were texting me about it. We're actually going to talk about it, so stick around for that. But yeah, I agree. I did not like the way, if this is really how it ended, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I definitely there's so much that's going on. Yeah.
So much disappointment.
Yeah, there's so much that's going on there. Yeah, pretty much. I will say in general, like I didn't mind the pace of the season itself because it was building suspense, and I liked where they were going with certain things. But for it just to end the way that it did, like we made predictions, and spoiler alerts for anyone that's watching right now. Again, what's the mom's name? Isabella. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Isabella rejoins with her kids. And that was something that we were like I was making a prediction about that before. The more it kind of went on, the more I was just like, I don't know if she really is going to turn good anymore. But I was like, but there's still a 10% chance just because of what they referenced in the first season, how they ended that first season to where her hair's all out, they humanized her and all that good stuff. We're talking about Promised Neverland, by the way, Ohio. He just asked, what show is this? And he also caught up on quintessential quintuplets. I got thoughts with a capital THOUGHTS. But yeah. But anyway, again, like they shown how human she can actually be. But even though she went through all this mess and everything like that, and the reason why is because she has a freaking explosive in her chest along with the other moms. Like, she's kind of forced to do this. I know she doesn't want to, but she's like, this is the way I have to survive, so this is what I'm going to go ahead and do. Yeah, and again, it's twisted, it's messed up, but she ended up siding with the kids at the end because they were able to get a diversion, so that way she was able to get her plans in motion to get freed up from that explosive in her chest. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Ohio just says LMAO Suicide Squad much. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, it was something else. It was definitely something else. And I'm not digging the way that this ended, because the way that this ended, for anyone that has yet to watch it, is that after this whole episode, after this whole buildup, they're about to walk through the human gates. And I was expecting more twists and all this stuff to happen. Emma stays back.
You know what?
What's up?
I'm sorry, really quick. Do you know what this last episode felt like?
What?
It felt like, it really did feel like it felt like they just rushed through the whole thing, and then right when they got to the very end of it, they're just like, we're gonna stay over here and we're gonna fix the demon world. Then I'm just like, okay, cue the Dora the Explorer music. We did it.
Yeah, and that was even more of the ultimate rush. That's where it threw me off, because it's just like, okay, you're about to go through the human world. Norman stays, Ray stays, Emma stays, of course the demons stay, and then Norman's comrades stay. So like they all stay behind, and then the next oldest after Emma and all them, they go to the human world with the other kids. So I'm expecting now that the rest of the story is going to be about that small group that stayed behind going to certain obstacles and stuff. Maybe we'll see some travesties there or whatever. No, it was just literally a montage of stuff that was going on, fast forwarding years to that point where Phil meets up with Emma again. And it was just like, and I feel like it's over because they're aged, they're older, they're not young anymore.
You know what? I'm sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. Fuck Phil. What's so special about Phil? What is so special about him? Seriously, like
he was next in line in smarts.
I mean, I know he's next in line in smarts, but like
your audio, by the way, is delayed. Just a heads up.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, you're good now. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Fix this. Let me just fix this. I was yelling so much, and my audio just didn't know. My audio was like, "Hold on, buddy. Like, let's just hold on." But like that was the thing, though. It's like they mentioned that he was the next smartest after Emma, Ray, and Norman.
Yeah.
That he's the number 4 smartest kid there, but they never really highlight that.
Yeah.
Like they never really emphasize that. They never really show that like he's that smart. like when they ran away, like when they escaped, he ran back. Like, that's pretty dumb to me. That sounds pretty dumb. And then and I will say, I loved when they actually checked in and they were like on the kids for like a second, and they were like, "Oh, hey, you're all getting adopted today," and they're like, "Yay!" And then he's just like, what? Mm-hmm. What now? What? No. And I liked that.
Yeah,
I did like that. I would have been okay like if they actually would have like checked in like with the house every now and then to see what was actually going on with I just had this kid's name. Yeah, Phil. Like I was so mad I forgot his name. I would have been cool with that. Like every episode, like every maybe like third or episode or so, like they check in on the kids. They check in on Phil and they see what life is like now on the farm without all of the other kids. Like what's going on with Phil, what's going on with the other kids, what's going on, like who's the new mother there? Is there a sister there now too? Like what's going on with that? And they didn't do enough with some of these characters. They really just kind of shoved them in your face and said, like this character, this is an important character. You're supposed to feel something here. And it's like, well, I would maybe actually feel something if you let me feel something. Like, you know, like it's kind of like being spoon-fed. And it's just like, I don't like being spoon-fed. Like the first season, holy crap, that was a full course meal is what that was. The first season was a banger of a season. This season, I was okay with it, like to start off. Like I was okay with it. I was excited to see where the season was going to go. And then it just gave me a turd. The season just handed me a dookie and said, here you go. You know what? No, this season handed all of us a turd. All of us a turd. And if you didn't get a turd from watching it, check your front door. Check your mailbox. Check your inbox. It's there. The turd is there. You just don't see it yet. It's on the floor, in the hallway. You're going to be walking down the hall at night, and you're going to slip on that turd. You're going to be, damn it, Promised Neverland!
Yeah, it was definitely, first and foremost, Ohio says Gravity has his raised energy this morning. So, yeah, you guys can tell we're on 30. We are on 30.
We're starting strong.
One.
We are starting strong today, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I was indifferent. Like first season for sure is better than the second season for sure. The second season to me, I was on board with even all the way up until the point to where Norman and his group had poisoned the demon clan and the demon organization stuff. Yeah. I was even on board with it until that point. It looked like they were going to do something with. It looked like that was Norman's one of Norman's people were betraying them, but that was actually part of the plan. That's cool. I'm fine with that being part of the plan, but I wish that they would have done a little bit more to make us feel like they were deceptive just a bit longer. And yeah, it was just really weird. And like now, and even so, it's just like almost a lot of the stuff was just like almost thrown out the window. Because remember, not Mujika, but Sanju, he said when the kids left, he's like, "Oh, I can't wait till they get older so I can eat them." Like, you know what I mean? Like he couldn't wait until their kids have kids and have kids, so that way those are the kids that he can eat.
They left.
Yeah, he made a comment about that.
Left.
Yeah, but he made a comment about that. But even then, it was just like, okay, you guys said that, putting in our minds that we may have to keep on our toes around Sanju, and then that was it. There's nothing else described about that. There's nothing else explained about that. So yeah. So as far as how it ended, if this is really truly the ending, I don't like it. And this was a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 anime, dropped way down just because of how the direction that they went with in season 2. If this is the end.
And it's one of those things where like you try to give it the benefit of the doubt, because there was a lot, especially I think it was like episode 5 or so, where I think that's when the differences between the manga and the anime started. But I think that honestly it started just like with the opening of season 2 in itself. Like I think season 2 was apparently so much different. I think it had like a few similarities here. I know Abs read some of like where season 2 territory was in the manga, and she was like, "Oh, like I remember reading this part and then this part." So like it sounds like it started to kind of match up at first, but then like around I think episode 5 was where it started to really deviate. According to people that I've seen that have fully read the manga. Again, I'm still behind on it. I need to catch up. But honestly, like this really terrible ending makes me actually want to read the manga now. I heard the manga also has a terrible ending, but but honestly, at that point, like I want to know what the differences are. I want to know what did they skip? Am I actually going to get a better experience reading the manga than I am the anime? Like honestly, I probably will, but I have no idea. It sounds like I'm still going to be disappointed in the ending regardless, but it almost makes me question whether or not the ending for the manga was so bad that the anime was just like, shut this down, wrap it up. Yeah. Like we can't have this liability. Like people know that this is going to end badly. We can't let it end badly for them there, so we're just going to let it end badly now.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was terrible. And I'm the one that as well. I don't really rate a lot of stuff. Like if anything, when I do rate on Funimation and Crunchyroll, it's usually stars, like 5 stars, because I think that it's fantastic. But I've never ever given a 1-star review, and I think I might actually go back and rate that as a 1-star after if this is their last. If this is how they're ending it. Then yeah, I'm giving it a 1-star because that was absolutely terrible. Absolutely,
it was dookie. Like I said, this series handed everybody a turd. They said, "Here's your turd. Thanks for watching." And like I said, if you don't have your turd, if you said, "Oh, I didn't get a turd," just take a look. Just take a whiff. Take a whiff and follow the smell. They left you a turd somewhere. They said, "Don't worry. Knock knock. DoorDash. Here's your Promised Neverland turd at your front door."
Yeah, that sucks. I actually, Ohio just said inside the chat, didn't stick the landing, SMH. You're 100% correct. It did not. I don't know if you started this. I know this is a part of one of the animes I recommended for you to watch. I almost want to tell you to go back and take that off the list that I gave you like a month or a year ago, or months or a year ago, whatever. Like that's how bad this ended. It's actually it is really good. The anime overall is really good. But the way that it ends is so much crap that it doesn't. It's not a top 10, not even a top 20 anymore for me.
And that starts to get into the discussion of like whether or not you can still love a series even if it has a bad ending.
Yeah,
because there are some people who think that like just because a series has a bad ending, like there are people who are like, oh, Game of Thrones, that ending was terrible. Don't even watch Game of Thrones. But it's like, for the most part, Game of Thrones was actually really good. It just had a very rushed ending where they spent all of this time building up to something really great, and they didn't bring that payoff. And that's kind of like what like story writing is about. Like you're building up anticipation. You're showing the audience like, hey, here is why you want to keep watching this. This is why you want to be invested in the story.
You there?
Because you're watching the story, like you're taking it in. Oh yeah, I'm here.
All right,
my audio cut out again.
The whole feed just completely slowed down. I think we're good though. I hear you though. I hear you now.
Oh, you know what? Okay, here. My mic cord was acting a little funny back here. Let me just adjust that really quick. But like because like you and your wife are watching Game of Thrones currently right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, like you can watch a series like even if it has a terrible ending, you just kind of have to be prepared for the fact that it has a bad ending, and you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt, and you have to kind of make that decision for yourself. I will say though, if you do watch the series, especially season 2, you're going to get a turd. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's you can leave it. You know what? If somebody says I liked it, good for you. Mm-hmm. Good for you. Go. You live your best life. But
I definitely agree. And real fast, Ohio says I'm kind of glad I didn't miss anything. Yeah, you actually didn't. And I say that because again, we went through the whole thing. We were going through the journey. The journey itself was fantastic. It was great. There are so many plot twists there. You didn't know what was going to happen, and then done. That's what had happened. So if you do want to eventually get into it to watch it and experience the journey of it, I would recommend that. I mean, you're watching us right now, so we could just tell you the journey if you rather do that. But so you don't even have to watch it technically. But the ending of it did kind of it ruined the overall hype experience for me. I wanted to have that solid good ending, almost like that Your Lie in April type ending, to where it's just over and you're just like, dang, this is over. Like animes and games that do that for me, top of the list, because it's just like you it leaves you wanting more, but at the same time satisfied because you got closure. So
yeah, you need that sense of catharsis with your stories, like, because like some stories, like, they don't need like a big payoff. Like sometimes it's like a tragic ending and you're like, oh, that's it. But like this even wasn't a tragic ending. It was like it was like, and they all lived happily ever after. Like, wait, you're not going to explain how they lived happily ever after? Well, they did this and this, and then there was a dragon. It's like, what? There's a dragon? Yeah, there's a dragon. And then they lived happily ever after. The end. Now go to bed. Like that's how it felt. And like I will say, honestly, like I'd still recommend people watch the first season. Just watch the first season, watch it all the way through, enjoy that. And then, honestly, like after the first season, just fill in the blanks yourself.
I wouldn't even do that.
Just fill in the blanks yourself. Like if you want to do that, or just read the manga. I don't know.
I think reading the manga would be the. No, I'm with you, man. I think reading manga would probably be better. I think if you watch the series, you're going to want to finish it because the way that the first season ends, it's such like okay, what happens next, and you want to know what the actual creators are thinking. And the season 2 starts off really epic. Like, it starts off really good. And it just makes it look like that this is going to be the season. And then about three-fourths of the way of through of it is good. But then you get towards the last couple episodes, it's just like, okay, what this cannot be it. This can't be it. This can't be the ending. So we'll kind of have to see. I wonder, and I do say, this is what me and Gravity were just kind of referencing earlier inside the chat too as well. I do say that if there's a season 3, the season 3 would probably have to be something along the lines to where it's like going back and filling in those gaps as far as like that whole journey, because there's years that go by in the last 5 minutes from when Emma leaves Phil and the rest of the group and then comes back to them. Those are years. Those aren't months. Those are years that go by. And because the kids go to school, they get older and stuff like that. You see them inside what looks like New York City. Like, it looks like a modern day today type scenario. And then when they come back, you see Emma's older, Norman's older. All of them are older. Phil runs over and crying and hugging her and stuff like that. And he looks entirely different. So if they do that, they would have to do something along the lines like that. Or kind of bring to the last section of this topic, will there be a Promised Neverland movie? Because if they do that and kind of connect the two, then it still won't be as good as you would hope it to be, but that could make a little less pain in the sting.
Yeah, because like I feel like if they were gonna do a season 3, because honestly I feel like they don't even like, because I mean, as I said before, like they don't even know, like a season 3 hasn't even been confirmed yet, so it could just be something where the team just didn't know if they were gonna have a season 3. It hasn't been greenlit yet, what have you. The production team probably was just like scrambling just to try to have one of those season endings where it's like, well, if we have to end it here, this is how we would end it. But, you know, if we're going to have a season 3, honestly, I think having a season 3 where they go over what happened during that dumb montage, that Dora the Explorer montage, we did it! Like that's basically what it was. It's like we did this and this and this and this and this and then done. Story is over. Go to bed. But season 3 that covered all of that stuff, I would be more than okay with it. It's just kind of at that point, like when you recommend that to people, though, you have to just kind of be like, season 2 wasn't the best, but season 3, that's a good season. But a movie, I think they could easily do a movie, and honestly, it sounds like honestly, like we're seeing more of that lately, where like we're seeing more anime movies come out that are like bangers of movies. Like we're seeing Your Name come out, that did really well. Like, I mean, the freaking Demon Slayer movie did really well. And I mean, like, look at all of the new Dragon Ball movies that have come out, like since, what was it, 2015 or 2013? Like with Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, and then you had oh my god, like we went like the Broly movie.
That was fantastic,
like, come on.
man. That was fantastic.
Like, yeah, like we're seeing more like anime movies come out, and it sounds like there's being more of a reception for them, like a positive reception where people are actually wanting to go out. Like, oh my gosh, not even mentioning the My Hero Academia movies. Like,
second one, I like that better.
Yeah, I sadly haven't seen any of them, but because I've always had something preventing me from seeing them. But but they even have a third My Hero Academia movie already in the works that they're gonna have some time out soon this year.
This year, yeah.
This year, next year, yeah, this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they announced a movie, honestly. Like with the way that a lot of these series are going, and especially, like, I mean, honestly, like with Dragon Ball, My Hero, and Demon Slayer, those are all Shonen Jump titles. Promised Neverland is also a Shonen Jump title. Don't know if if that means anything, but it is. Let me just put on my tinfoil hat. It is a correlation. I see a pattern, and I wouldn't be surprised. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll kind of have to see how this is going to pan out because Ohio inside the chat says live action or LMAO live action movie. No. Here's the thing. This has the same energy as Death Note, to where it could have the potential of being a good live action movie. It's not going to be. It's just flat out not going to be. Out of all the animes I've ever seen, aside from Rurouni Kenshin, Death Note had the best potential of being a good, great live-action movie, and they messed that up. So with that being said, and Death Note was a good one from beginning to end. This one was a good one from beginning to middle to semi-end, and then end, it just was terrible. So with that type of energy, with just the anime of Promised Neverland, I don't think it's going to be a good live-action at all because of how the anime ended. Because if you take the element out of it, the types of materials that they do inside Promised Neverland, there's no Kamehameha blast, there's no Super Saiyan transformations or weird hairstyles, that too weird of a hairstyles that they can't implement as an actual human. The premise of it is very realistic. I mean, aside from demons existing, the premise of it is very realistic, and even the CGI for the demons can still be really good. So they have the material that could actually make Promised Neverland a good live-action movie, but because of how the anime had ended and how the script had gone, and just my lack of faith in developers and directors being able to do good live-action movies, I don't think this would be a good live-action movie based on that.
I hate to say it, because like honestly, like with the live action art question, I'm always going to go back to this, and I really hate saying it. Just have Disney do it. Like if there was ever going to be a live action anime adaptation of any sort, I'm sorry, give it to Disney. Look what they did. I don't even want to talk about Star Wars. That's over there.
Why not Pixar?
Like, look what they did with Pixar. I mean, Pixar is all animated. I still need to see the movie Soul, but holy crap, the animation quality of that looks amazing. And that's been a movie I've been wanting to watch for a while. But if you look at just look at what they've been doing with WandaVision. Look how great the quality of that is. Look at what they've done with all of the Marvel the Marvel movies. Look what they did with the Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many CG things there were in that series that actually looked legit real? They know how to do CG, they know how to do special effects, then they know how to do superpowers is the thing. So if there was any sort of studio that I would want to touch a live action anime adaptation of anything, give it to Disney, give it to just have them do it. And I hate to push more IPs towards them, because really I don't want them to be having any more IPs, but they have a good track record is what I'm saying. Mm. And if there's something that I would want to see live action, I'd want to see them do it. And if they mess it up, then to me that just proves that it just can't be done.
Right.
It just can't be done.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I think that hold on one second, I'm just getting rid of this idiot in chat. Yeah, there we go. All right, there we go. Cool. Bam. All right, we don't have haters in this chat.
No haters.
If anyone wants to block him or kind of give him some hate, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. You guys can see that. Yeah, we ain't about that life. But anyway,
spreading the hate.
Yeah, we ain't about that life. But anyway, so I definitely don't think that what's it called is going to be a good live action movie, or I just don't think it will be, unfortunately. Ohio says nah, frag 'em. But yeah. Oh, and thanks. Shout out to Smoggy Smackdown for the recent follow. Thank you very much again for that. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, fam. Going on over to story, because we're actually making good time on here, but I would definitely want to get this one into works now that we have Ohio in the chat. Now that we got you caught up, and now that I'm all the way caught up on season 2, quintessential quintuplets. So first, let me ask you guys this: who is your guys' favorite quintuplet? What is your guys' favorite quintuplet? I have mine, but I'm gonna go last. What is yours, Gravity Mark 2?
Oh my gosh. Here, hold on. I gotta get this list up here. Out of all of them, I mean, Miku's probably my number one.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there. Love Miku so much. It's the quiet person. It's, like she's just like, and she's got her own headphones on, like she's just chilling, she's vibing, she's just doing her thing, but like she's like coming to her own like person where she's like and they've said that, like, because again, I want to just preface this, I've only seen season 1, so let's hold off on season 2 spoilers until hopefully the end of today.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, Miku's awesome, and they even said in the first season like they're seeing like a change in all of them. And it seems like it's for the better. So, and like, it seems like Miku's becoming a lot more confident. And I love seeing that from a character. I love seeing a character, like, especially a quiet, introverted character, go from this just kind of this, like, I don't really care about anything, and then just kind of like blossom into this very confident, I know who I am, and I love who I am kind of character. Mm-hmm. And she's going for what she wants. Like, she's very kind. She likes helping people, not as much as Yotsuba does, but like she likes helping out, like she likes supporting people, but like it's, like she's really coming to her own, and I like that. Yotsuba's adorable. I'll just say that. But yeah, honestly, I'm just gonna start. Do I have to go through the whole list?
No. I was about to say, I wanted to know your favorite, which sounds like it's Miku.
It's Miku. Yeah, of course it is.
Ohio says this is hard, my man. Because I think he agrees with you. He says, I would have to go with Miku as well. I think Ichika is my 2 seed.
That's my number 2.
Yeah. Because, Itsuki and Ichika. Yeah. So, I agree. I think that I'm right there with you guys, actually. And actually, to be honest with you, there's an article out there that shows why Miku is actually the number 1 quintuplet. Like, why she's like the perfect quintuplet and stuff like that. She's the middle child and everything like that. Of course, they're all the same age, but they just come out literally after each other, like minutes and seconds, all that good stuff. Miku, absolutely adore Miku. And actually, that was one of the things, I'm not going to say because I'm further along. And I actually, as of today, I was just talking to you about this off chat. I actually went ahead and looked ahead towards the end. I normally don't do this, but I looked at towards the end just to see how it ends. And I want to see who Fatoro ends up being with. I got 2 answers. I got 2 different answers. There's one that's more likely than the other. It's a lot more likely than the other. But I got 2 different answers. So I still am not like 100% sure. But I do know that of how it truly ends, and it's unique. So I will say that much. Ohio said that he wanted to do that too as well. Yeah, man. It's definitely it's definitely a really good series. I think, how many seasons do you guys think that the quintessential quintuplets will officially get? We already had season 1. We had season 2, which ironically, I started this the day that the final episode of season 2 aired. So like, I started this on the 26th. That was the last episode for season 2 was on the 26th. And now they did officially confirm that season 3 is in the works. Do you think we'll get a season 4, or do you think they'll wrap up everything in season 3? I was supposed to, I know it's gonna be hard for you because you're still in season 1. You just wrapped that up, so you have a full season to go. But I want to. Oh yeah, and Ohio says the dub season Funimation is coming out now. Yeah, that's actually what I've been doing because on Thursdays the Funimation dub has been coming out. So that's actually one of the animes. Yeah, for season 2 that is, because season 1 on Funimation is all the way dubbed already. But yeah, but on Thursdays the season 2 dubs are coming out, and I will be rewatching that through that way too as well. But so far, going back to my initial question, and I know it's gonna be tough for you to answer, but just from what you gathered from season 1, do you think that there's gonna be a season 4 after they come out with the season 3, or do you think the season 3 is gonna be the last one?
You know, it's always hard to say because I usually base this stuff off of like where the manga is. Because like at the very least, like that's kind of what I do with My Hero, where like I'm fully caught up on My Hero with the manga, and based on kind of how the anime has been going, they usually kind of cover like at least like 2 story arcs like per season usually. And if it's like a shorter story arc, they'll probably have like another shorter story arc. Honestly, with where they are right now, season 5 could either be a very big season, which I highly doubt. Because honestly, I think with where they are right now in the manga for that, it's going to be, it's a little bit further than that, but I'll actually touch on that later. With this one, I'd honestly assume that they'd probably have a season 4. Because right now, the manga is done. So as far as I know, it should be completely done with, but they have 14 volumes. So it's always kind of hard to say, but judging off of 14 volumes, I'd assume that they'd have like a 4th season. I would hope that they have a 4th season, because this is definitely something that like as soon as I catch up on season 2, I'm probably going to start reading the manga. Yeah, because like that's again, it's just one of those series that I'm just like, you know what, I want to know more about it, and especially like for some series like this, at least with my experience with like Domestic Girlfriend, like I finished season 1 and I was like, oh my gosh, that was great. I want to know more about this. I read the entire manga within a week, and there was so much more packed into that manga that I was like, wow, this is so good that. Honestly, I don't know how different it is from the anime, but I definitely am going to be reading it and watching it.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that I think this one's going to be like hand in hand with the actual manga. I don't think that this is going to be too different from it. Where do you get the manga? Ohio said inside. Well, first he says. I think the manga he says even though he says the dub is coming out on Funimation, even though Gravity can understand Japanese, LMAO. Then he says I think the manga has like 7 seasons. Then after you said 14 volumes, he's like, oh wow, it's way off. Where do you get the manga? Because I'm about to finish that ish today. So that one, if you have, actually, you know what? If you have a computer, I think if you have Crunchyroll, it is. On the PC version, there should be a section for manga where you can read the full manga that way too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Crunchyroll manga section has it available. At the very least, for me, like I said at the top of this podcast, I like to try to support the original creators like where I can. Like even if it's just like a little bit, like I want to try to make sure that the people who like made me feel something actually get something in return. Just because I'm just like, like I want to spread the love. I want to share the wealth, spread the love. At least for me, where I'm looking to get the manga is actually from Bookwalker. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't be like with Bookwalker, they only do like like ebooks. So like you're not going to be able to get anything physical, which I love my physical manga. Like I have like several shelves on my bookshelf just dedicated to manga. But honestly, Bookwalker is something that I've been keeping my eye on for a while. I think they're a subsidiary of Kodansha, actually, or Kodakawa. I think it's Kodakawa.
Kodakawa, yeah.
Yeah, so like it is like an official source. Like, and so it's honestly it's probably one of the most official ways that you can actually get manga to actually support the original creators. I've heard many different people across various platforms recommend Bookwalker, so it's definitely something that I'm keeping my eye on. And it looks like they have some sort of reward system too. So you can go ahead and you can buy the volumes and you can get some coins back. Look at me, I'm sounding like it's a paid ad. This is not a paid ad, I swear. If it was, we would tell you. But it's kind of neat. Like you can actually get like the first volume right there. If it's not too bright, there it is.
Yep,
yeah. So they do have it in USD. It also shows Japanese yen on there. So definitely, check it out. That's actually where I'm going to be getting it once I'm done with season 2. So feel free to check it out there.
There you go. But yeah, so then let me ask you this then. If you were Faturo, and it sounds like, I feel like I know what your answer is going to be here, but if you were Faturo, who would you choose?
This is the hard question. Because this is something that I've been thinking about, honestly, like for a long time. Especially for like series like this, like more specifically like harem series. Like they put these characters in these situations where they're surrounded by characters that all kind of like embody a certain type of character trait. And at the end of the day, like I feel like some of these series work so well just because real people like don't have like just one character trait. You know, like some people might like exhibit like one trait more than another, but like usually like they have like several traits. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at a series like this, you're kind of like, man, like I love Miku. Like she's quiet, she's introverted, but like she loves what she loves, and I love seeing that confidence bloom in somebody. But I also love Ichika too. Like look, like she's super confident in who she is. Like, but it also shows that she's still growing too. And honestly, like everyone grows. Like even when you're an adult, you're still growing, you're still learning, and I love seeing that. So it's like, and I think honestly, like those are my top 2 favorites. So, and they're complete opposites. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things where it's like I'm all over the place. Because honestly, if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Miku. But Ichika is a very close second.
Mm-hmm. And Ohio inside the chat says, I think if he found out which girl was actually Rena, then that would that he met in elementary school, that would seriously impact his decision. I'm not going to
my decision.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not going to. He said it's hard. They all have a very desirable qualities. Yeah, they do. That's exactly and that's exactly what the writers did perfectly here. I think Yotsubu is a sweetheart. Yep. I think on here, to be honest with you, like, what's up, Gamer's Life? Good to see you, good sir.
What's up?
Yeah, I think to be honest with you though, if I'm Yotsubu, if I'm Faturo, all right. If I'm Faturo and I'm looking at everything, out of everybody that I encountered, out of the 5 sisters, not trying to say that I would be going for the one that is does the most for me or whatever like that, but who has done the most? Who has done the most for him without him asking? You know what I mean?
Who gave me the most?
Yeah, but also on the flip side of that, what all did he do? Like he ended up on the first couple of episodes trying to speak with Miku, and she caught him in a lie, and she ended up like saying, I ain't getting help from you. He took that time to read all those books he took that time to read all those books so that way he could be caught up on the Sengoku time period for her, and that he can actually like do that and everything like that. On the flip, now at that point she starts developing feelings, and she's like probably the first true sister that was developing feelings for him at this point. And he, and what had happened is that she started wanting to cook for him. Then she was actually pushing herself to get the best grade out of them all. Then she's doing all this stuff, and it was just like, okay, what have the others been doing to that capacity? You know what I mean? Like those other girls, obviously they care about him, obviously they love him and stuff like that. For the ones that have been revealing that are in love with him or whatever. No spoiler alert there, because I mean that's pretty much the essence of it, is that he meets these girls and he's tutoring them. They're all kind of dumb, and at the end it kind of fast forwards to his life and he marries one of them, but we're trying to figure out the way this season's set up is that we're trying to figure out which one he ends up marrying. So no surprise that they all at some point throughout the series, whether it's season 1, 2, 3 or presumably 4, they're all going to end up loving him and falling for him and stuff like that. We just don't know which one it's going to be. I think Ichika and him helping with her and her acting. Yeah, I think that Ichika is right up there too as well. And I think that she definitely has that older sister mentality. But again, like as far as the best together, I still go with Miku. And if I was Faduro, that's who I would choose. I would choose Miku too as well. But I mean, I'm right there with you, Ohio. Yeah. Well, I think they all have desirable traits for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say I wouldn't be upset with Itsuki either. Like, and I say that
the one that first met him, like in his teenage. Okay.
Yeah, because they are highlighting her in some way, kind of as like the focal point of the group. And the other thing about it is that they've actually hung out, like they've had dinner together, they've like gone on like it wasn't like an official date, but like they went out and hung out together. They went and got like pictures together. Like if anything, like he's probably had more of a like relationship experience probably with her. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is like the other thing that I actually really like is that because she's kind of like slowly kind of like accepting her own feelings for him, it's one of those kind of cooking your bacon low and slow. You know, like you just it's that low simmer where like it's like, oh, this is gonna be a nice payoff, like if it does become a payoff. Because honestly, like when it comes to like Nino, like she's just the tsundere of the group. Mm. Like she's just it's not even like I wanted to do this or like you know, like it like you know, obviously it's probably not gonna be her. Honestly, if it was her, that'd be a huge plot twist. And that would be absolute. Honestly, you know what? They need to do that. They don't give tsunderes happy endings often enough.
Do you want me to tell you something?
No.
Don't tell me I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but I will say I have a strong suspicion right now. Ohio's agreeing with everything that you're saying. I don't know if he probably hasn't heard your last comment just now if it's caught up to that, but I will say once you get through season 2. Your last statement is going to go out the window. It's your very last statement is going to go out the window.
You know, yeah, and that is something. I'm just like that. I'm just honestly like realizing right now. Like they really like they always have like tsundere characters and stuff like this, but they're just kind of like there to fill a role, and they never really actually get a happy ending more often than not. So it's just kind of like, hey, like unless like they're like the only female character, like they're like supposed to be. Like the lead female role, in which case they do. But usually in cases like this, they're not the first choice. But honestly, like Itsuki is like kind of like she's kind of like all of the characters, just like all the other sisters, just kind of like wrapped into one. And she's just kind of there. And honestly, like I wouldn't be mad because like she's definitely probably my number 3. But honestly, just because season 1 is really focused on Ichika and Miku, like I'm kind of vibing with them a little bit more because I really gotta see season 2. Like I really have
to. yeah, you do. Ohio asks, what was the last statement? The last statement that you made was saying that Nino, she's so far from it. Like I would be so surprised if she ends up being the one that is with him. And yeah, you like I said, like I felt the same way. But when you get through season 2, you're just like, okay. Stuff happens and you're just like, all right, well, maybe I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, because I will say this, like just watching it just to start off with, I was like, oh, like this seems like a fun anime to watch. Like it seems like a fun time. Like let's just keep watching it. Let's see where this goes. And it wasn't until that I don't remember which episode it was, but when he was like, oh man, it's a good thing she only saw half the photo.
Yeah.
And it shows that there was, and it references the girl that got him to change his ways and stop being a hooligan and start studying more. And then you see that girl is one of the quintuplets.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's where it got me.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it
Same
hooked me. And I was, yeah, because at that point it just went from, oh, this is fun to who is that?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Like I have to know. Like because like obviously like who he ends up marrying, that's one thing. But like, is he even marrying that original girl?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it like is he not? Who is that girl? Like, which one is it? Because like I paused it. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like I paused it like right when it showed her picture, and I'm like, okay, so that girl is smiling like this. She's giving a hand signal like this. Now let me go to like the picture of all the quintuplets. All right, I mean when they're younger. Okay. So the mouths don't really match. Her mouth kind of matches that one, but like the facial expression over there, the eyes look a little bit like more like over here. But that one is having like the same sort of like hand gesture as the other one. So like I was trying to analyze it.
But here's the thing: even if you found out that it was the one far on the right. Which I'm just throwing a random location out there. I'm not saying that that's what's going on. But I'm just saying, even if you found it,
I knew it.
Yeah,
the far right.
Yeah, but then who is it? Who is the far right? You know what I mean? You still have to try to figure that out. Like, and how it just says in here, LMAOOO, they're quintuplets. Yeah. So I
was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I went back to actually see who officially was the one that ends up at the end of the series, at the end of the season, who ends up marrying him. I know the answer, the likely answer, I should say. I know the likely answer, and it might come to a shock to you guys. It may not. But with that being said, the way that season 2 kind of ends, I have a suspicion that season 3 may actually be the last one. And I say that because of the pace of how emotions are surfacing, coming to how emotions are surfacing through season 2, and how kind of it's quickly paced, but it doesn't feel rushed. But there's some parts of the pacing of it is going to be coming through on season. Sorry, he's cracking me up in the chat. He says, "You better text me that ish now. Send it. You're not typing." do you really want me to text you there, Ohio? Just say inside the chat if you want me to. I can definitely send you who it is if you want. All right, the likely answer I should say, because I did look it up. So yeah. But yeah, I just
don't send me that. Don't send me that.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. I'm sending it right now. Legendary Anime JPay Fan 2 says all day anime. Welcome to the chat, man. Appreciate you being in here. Yeah, we just talked about where you can watch the latest 7 Deadly Sins, which surprisingly, may not be the platform you're expecting it to be on. And then we just talked about the disappointing portions of Promised Neverland. We are actually talking about right now quintessential quintuplets, and we're about to end it up. But yeah, say what? Yeah, so it's actually on YouTube, Ohio. It's actually on YouTube. Hold on one second. I'm typing it to you right now. Bam. All right, I just sent it to you, Ohio. So that is the person that when I looked it up, that's who it is. That's who it is. The quintuplets, quintessential quintuplets is my favorite this year. Legendary. Yeah, hey, it's a good one. I literally just watched I just said this earlier inside the chat. I literally watched the entire first season on Friday, and I watched the full second season on Saturday. So now I'm just waiting for season 3 to come on out, and I'm pretty excited about that. All right. Okay, there we go. Yeah. You just said interesting inside the chat. Yep. So you just got my text. That's what that means. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what this is going to turn out to be for quintessential quintuplets, and I cannot wait for season 3. I'm hoping it's not pushed back until like 2023 or something like that. At the absolute latest I'd want it would be 2022, but we know how the industry works and anime goes and all that good stuff. So hopefully, once we get through the dub on Funimation as it's being released, because I'm going to rewatch that again through dub. I'm very curious to see how much longer we have to wait for season 3. And lastly, before we get into this one, because My Hero Academia is back. But before we jump inside that, definitely want to go ahead and give you the update there, Ohio. Again, if you are trying to watch at least the first episode of season 4 of 7 Deadly Sins, you can actually find it on YouTube. And the YouTube link for that one is www.youtube.com/watch?V as in Victor, $, Z as in zebra, D as in dog, L, which is a capital L, A as in apple, 3Y, H, I, U, Q, A as in apple. So that is something that I've been looking forward for, because we do know for a fact that that what's it called? It was announced that 7 Deadly Sins was coming out this January 13th. It's been out, but it's not on the major platforms like Funimation or Crunchyroll. Netflix has a deal with the studio, but of course we know that Netflix is always delayed in their stuff. Legendary Anime JP fan says Masamune-kun Revenge is a pretty good anime. Interesting. I haven't. Yeah, you checking that out right now, Gravity? Yep, there you go. Yeah, so Masamune-kun Revenge. I've actually never seen it. I probably have to take a look at the trailer, see if I recognize it, because I don't recognize it by name. Ohio says, which season is this? This will actually be season 4. So you already have season 1, which is the base season. Then you have the Revival of the Ten Commandments, which is the second season. And then you had the third season where the commandments are out there and all that good stuff. And that wrapped up, and I'm not going to give any spoiler alerts for 7 Deadly Sins, but the way that ends going inside season 4, that's what we're anticipating and waiting for. But that is actually out right now on YouTube, at least the first episode. I'm going to take a look to see if there's more episodes that's out there, because, again, it's been since January 13th, and maybe you can actually go ahead and watch it there, which, again, the link I went ahead and gave you guys. I see a bunch of new episodes for Season 5 on YouTube. So, hopefully, Season 5... Season 5 is not even announced. Yeah, that's not even a thing. So if you're seeing one for season, well, I guess technically, okay. If you want to get technical,
you gotta get the tech.
Yeah, I say that because so there's the first season, and then there's something that Netflix calls season 2, which is literally 3 episodes, and it's like the Signs of the Holy War, it was called. So there's the first season, then there's Signs of the Holy War, then there's the Revival of the Ten Commandments. Then there's where the commandments are out there and they're fighting all that good stuff. And then, yeah. So technically there's 5 seasons if you really, really want to get technical. But that's just because 3 episodes of season quote-unquote 2 was misnamed by Netflix. So it's not really season 5 if they're talking about... If they're talking about Dragon's Judgment. That's actually season 4. Go ahead there, Gravity.
I was going to say, Legendary Anime JP fan 2... great recommendation for this. I've heard of this. I think I actually saw this in kind of in my recommended on Crunchyroll, like Masamune-kun's Revenge. Because as I'm kind of I just kind of read like the plot synopsis for the general idea of it, and as soon as I read Pig's-Foot, I was like, oh, I've heard of this. It was something that I was definitely looking at. So great recommendation. Adding it to my watch later list now. This sounds like a really great series.
Hey, he threw another one in there. He says we need to watch Tante wa Moi Shindiro. I can't say that one. You're the one that's taking the Japanese class. But yeah, it says such good trailers, so we gotta take a look at that too as well.
Tante wa Moi Shindiro. Okay. I mean, I can just pronounce the characters. Hey, I don't know what they mean yet.
That's perfectly fine. It's better than me. I would have been like Shirigami. I mean, it's Shinderu, however you say that. But yeah. So that's where you guys can watch that. But going on over to the final topic that we have is My Hero Academia Returns. So I watched the first episode yesterday for season 4. Is it season 4 or 5? 5. It's season 5. Yeah, season 5. Yeah, so I watched the first episode yesterday. I'm not gonna lie to you, it really didn't do anything for me. And I say that because it's an introduction. It's an introduction episode because I feel like they kind of been doing this. I feel like they've been kind of been doing this for almost every season ever since the exams for My Hero. It would literally just the first episode would just reintroduce the characters as some sort of test or exam or something like that. And that's exactly how this started. This is right after the Endeavor fight. Endeavor did the little. Of course, anyone that's currently watching right now live or listening to the podcast services, this is a spoiler alert for the latest episode of My Hero Academia. But honestly, you're not going to be really missing much until we get to the end of this topic. But yeah, I mean, it really wasn't anything. It was just them testing out their stuff. You already know that Endeavor was a simple piece. Barely was able to survive against that one Domu. He ended up winning, but also kind of with the help of Hawks. And Endeavor's in recovery time period. It goes back to the students, and they have a challenge, and that whole episode is literally about them having the challenge for their test. But that makes me want to know, where do you think that this episode is going to go now that Endeavor is the new symbol of peace? He's in recovery mode right now. He did wake back up. He woke up at the end of the episode. But where do you think the anime is going to end up shifting towards their gravity?
You know, I'm actually going to toss this one to you because I actually want to hear your thoughts on this first. I'm actually fully caught up on the manga except for the chapter that just released today. So I already know what happens. Okay. So I'm more curious to see what you have to say on this, and then I'll share some of my thoughts afterwards.
I think I've been kind of speculating this for some time now, and I think this might be the season where All Might officially dies.
Yeah,
I have a suspicion that that's what's going to happen, just because the opening credits. Normally, I skip it because sometimes there's spoilers in the credits when you're watching it. But I went ahead and watched it, and the opening credit doesn't show All Might, doesn't show Deku looking at All Might anymore in the light. It was showing Endeavor. And that makes me wonder, we already know that All Might's finished. We know that he's retired. We know that he's now going to be a teacher, but literally a teacher just of his knowledge. He's not going to be a teacher anything outside of that, and he's a mentor to Deku. We know that. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if something's going to happen, because again, as powerful as Endeavor is, he's miles behind All Might. The reason why, again, this is even a series is because the number one symbol of peace is no longer there anymore. So that's what's making me think that maybe something's going to happen that's even above Endeavor, and Deku has to step up and he's doing X, Y, and Z, but then all of a sudden Deku's in trouble. Maybe something's about to happen to where All For One is there about to go ahead and destroy Deku, and All Might does one last heroic hoorah and takes All For One with him, and he ends up meeting his demise there. That's a huge stretch. That's a tall order, but I'm wondering if anything like that's going to come to light here. Because, again, they replaced that symbol piece of All Might and now put in Endeavor inside that piece for the opening credits.
I'll say this. I don't even think that season 5 is necessarily going to cover this. It might. Just depending on the pacing of this. Basing it on the pacing of the fights between Class 1A and 1B that are coming up. Mm-hmm. Depending on how quickly they go through that, they honestly might have season 5 cover everything up until this most recent arc with this. What's up, Babs?
Hey.
Ew.
What's up, Mari?
Making a cameo.
All day.
After this.
Oh, she's got to grab her stuff.
Make sure you guys are checking her out on Abs3315. She's been streaming some Apex Legends as of late. Abs3315. Make sure you guys checking her out.
Having all sorts of fun over there.
Yep.
I will say some of what you said is accurate and some of what you said is not accurate. I'm not going to say which is right. I'm not going to say which is wrong, but I will say part of what you said is on the right track of what's going to happen. I will say with this mock battle between Class 1A and 1B, don't sleep on it. It's cool.
Okay.
There's a character. There's there's a character that's going to be coming back that I was excited for when I saw them. Some other really cool stuff is going to be happening in that fight that's actually going to add a lot more depth to the series. So keep your eye on those mock battles. But yeah, this series in general is really interesting, and especially because I've been reading the manga, I get to kind of like get a weekly peek as to what's going to be happening. Mm-hmm. So this season, I will say, is probably one of my more favorite ones, because they are going to be talking a lot about this, especially they're going to be focusing here and there on Endeavor's journey as the new number one hero.
Gotcha.
And I honestly, I love that. I love that they have this character who, for the most part, he's kind of an asshole. He's kind of a jerk. He's kind of a meanie pants, and he was a terrible dad. Mm. He really didn't embody what it meant to be a hero. And even as we saw last season, where he sat next to All Might and was like, how do you be the number one hero? Like, what is it? Like, he was asking All Might for advice. He was like, hey, what was that special juju that you had that made you the symbol of peace? Like, because like it transitioned from this, like, I want to beat All Might, to crap, I have his seat now, but now I have to kind of live up to his expectations because he went out with a bang with his retirement. So now he's kind of like following this journey of trying to be the number one hero, trying to see what being the number one hero even means. And there's a lot that goes into it. There really is. And they dive into the backstories of a lot of characters in this upcoming season. So from what I've read, it's going to be a really good season. Every adaptation of the anime, of the manga into an anime form so far has been pretty spot on and has been really good. So I'm really excited for it. I've been watching the series in the dub, so I'm kind of waiting for the dub to come out. But at the same time, like I said, I already know what happens. It is a really great series, but you had a question about Hawks.
I did. But before we get to that, I want to throw out their Legendaries thing. But before I say Legendaries thing, I have to give you Legendary. The Sexy Sax, here it comes. Just because, again, you're giving us some banger of animes, because I know this one's on your list there.
I heard about the new movie.
Yeah. You see that? Is it coming in?
Dude, I was going to say, Evangelion, like, who, like, dude, I haven't seen that in so long.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen that in so long. I need to catch up on it. I need to go back and rewatch it. It is honestly a classic that I've seen, like, I've probably seen it twice all the way through, but again, I'd have to go back and just refresh myself on it, so that way when this new movie does come out, I can, like, get really into it.
Just jump on it. There it is. Super delayed, but it's coming in right now. The Sexy Sax. Hey.
Oh.
But yeah, he says, OMG, the new Neon Genesis Evangelion movie coming out this year. Such outstanding graphics and good fighting animes. Actually, in addition to that, let's go ahead and give you one a little bit better. So again, we've been kind of doing this every time we had all day anime. Here's your winter animes from 2020 going inside 2021. Attack on Titan, the final season. It comes out every Sunday. It should be coming out here in the next 2 hours for the next episode. We have Beastars Season 2. That started as of January 5th. Promised Neverland Season 2. Let's hope that that's not over. If it is, ouch. Seven Deadly Sins, The Dragon's Judgment. That has been out since, well, it says January 6th, but it actually was the 13th when it came out, which is a week later. On here, ReZero, Starting Life in Another World. January 6th is when it started. Quintessential Quintuplets that started January 6th. That says 7th. It was actually the 6th. And the last episode had this past as Friday, which was the 26th. Let's see. The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter had started on January 8th. We had So What? I'm a Spider. So What? January 8th. Skate the Infinity. That one actually been showing up a lot more on my radar lately, but that one has started as well. January 9th. And let's see, Log Horizon, January 13th. That's when that had started. Dr. Stone's Storm Wars has started on the 14th of January, that is. And coming out this spring, which is we're actually kind of in that spring season right now, we have Pacific Rim: The Black that had started on March 4th. My Hero Academia, which started yesterday. That was what we're actually talking about right now. Shaman King comes out this Thursday, April 1st. Very excited for that. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Kingdom Season 3 resumes April 4th. Of 2021. Megalobox 2 Nomad comes out April 4th, 2021. Fruit Baskets final season April 5th. So anyone that likes the slice of life type stuff, like the quintessential quintuplets in Your Lie in April and everything like that. How to Not Summon a Demon Lord Omega April 8th. The end of the world ends with you April 9th. And I'm kind of skipping a lot of these. Yeah, I've been kind of skipping a lot of these. I'm just kind of naming the ones that are like kind of big hitters and stuff like that. I'm sitting on the this coming up for the summer is I'm sitting on A Million Lives season 2 starts July 2021. My Next Life as a Villainess, All Roads Lead to Doom, July. No date, but just in July. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, part 2 of season 2. So that's been going on right now. But part 2 of season 2 is going out in the summer. So luckily, once this ends, we're going to get some more. And then Scarlet Nexus, which is actually a video game that was announced from Xbox, that's actually coming out this summer as well. So be on the lookout for all of that. But yeah. I definitely want to be checking out a lot of these different animes that you're suggesting. They're legendary. Some of these I've already heard before. I know that Gravity has definitely heard of Evangelion for sure. But
classic.
Yeah. I should say that's more of in your alley. I should say that's more in your alley. But yeah. So what Hidden Dungeon only I Can Enter was great. Shaman King, which I'm excited for and waiting for the new Bleach season that comes out. Yeah, the 1,000-year Blood War. Very excited for that too as well. That's coming out, and then of course Rising of the Shield Hero season 2 comes out this October for fall animes, which we'll announce later on too as well. But yeah, so you were saying Hawks. I am very curious to see if he's good or evil. I'm pretty sure he's good. He's portrayed as a good guy. But I'm very, very, very curious to see how this is going to go. And I say that because if you stay till after the credits of the last episode yesterday, you guys will see that he meets up with, what's the guy's name? Doba, something like that? Dabi. He ends up meeting with Dabi, which is a villain. He's definitely a villain. But he ends up with Dabi afterwards. And it looked like that they had a plan in motion. And I don't know necessarily what his intentions are anymore. Because he definitely just helped. Yeah, he just helped Endeavor beat the Damu. Then he comes up to Dabi. And now it's just like... And this is also after Dabi had approached Endeavor and Hawks. After, like, Endeavor's, like, super bloodied up, beat up, and everything like that. He didn't attack him. But he'd approached them, and now it's just like, okay, what is going on here? So I'm very curious to see what's going on there. I don't know if he's good or bad.
Yeah. The Hawks character in his story arc is really interesting. Like I said, I'm fully caught up, so I know I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, it sounds like manga wise, this was episode 1 of season 5 kind of started at chapter 191 is what it sounds like, because it does look like they're fighting Dabi. Endeavor passes out. He meets up with Dabi again. So and honestly, like, My Hero is one of those series that I was honestly really concerned about when I first saw it, mainly because of how big the cast was. And it was just one of those series that, like, when you see a big cast like that, you start to get worried and you're like, is this going to be another one of those series where they have like a million different characters but they really only focus on like 5 of them. But like at the same time, like they have recurring side characters that really like don't get enough shine, that really deserve more attention and really deserve to be fleshed out a little bit more. And to an extent, it's done that here and there with some of the characters, but they've actually like fleshed out a lot of characters' backgrounds, a lot of their backstories. Like even like with all of the villains, they go and they flush out all of their backstory. They flush out all of like kind of like their character, and they kind of show who they are. They kind of show where they come from, and it really does. The series does a really good job of just kind of like towing that line of like what it means to be a hero, what it means to be a villain, like what makes you a hero, what makes you a villain. And that's something that I personally have been very much so enjoying. And I'm really and honestly, like I said, I already know the manga, so I'm really, really excited to see what this anime has to offer this season. Like, because I want to see all of this animated. I want to see all of this animated. I want to hear the amazing music come back. I want to hear the amazing sound effects come back. I want to be there. I want to watch it. So I'm really excited to watch it. Yeah, Hawk's character is interesting because like he does put on this this portrayal of like is he a villain? You know, like is he secretly a villain that's posing as a hero, or is he a hero posing as a villain? Like, is it like which is it? Because he does talk with Dabi. He does, and he's like, "Hey, like, what are you doing? Like, that wasn't part of the plan." Like, it's like it's very much so a really interesting kind of story that they tell with him.
What if Dabi? Now you probably already know, but what if Dabi and Hawks are brothers? You know, what if Dabi's like actually the one that is like he doesn't want to. I don't know. I have all the different theories out there because the only thing I can think of is that maybe Dabi's the one that's actually a hero that disguised as a villain because of how he looks, or maybe like you said, Hawks is the villain that's disguised as a hero. But or maybe they're best friends. I don't know. Maybe that is the story of how Deku and Bakugo. Maybe that story that Dabi and Hawks have is a very similar story. You're making the face. I think I'm on to something. I'm close to something. But I don't know. I have a whole different amount of stories. You know, I'm gonna stop because I'm all over the place.
I'll say this. I already had a theory about Dabi that I held for the longest. I held this theory for 2 years or so, or about since like 2019. Like when I picked up the manga, like I already had a theory about him, and I'm gonna say I'm not disappointed with my theories as of where the manga is right now. So, again, they do so good. They do so good with this. I will say this though, since we're already talking about My Hero, I already showed you kind of like a key visual last week for that chapter. But I don't think I told you. Did I tell you what the most chapter 306 was titled?
No.
So right now they just released chapter 307. So I haven't read that just yet. But chapter 306 is titled "The Final Act Begins."
The final act begins.
The final act begins. So I do just want to throw that out there because there has been a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Like, think of everything crazy that has happened so far in the series.
Yeah.
Crazy. The series is crazy. The season crazier than that. So at this point, I think it either might be kind of like an exaggeration, or this might actually be the final arc of My Hero going into the manga. So that is something to keep in mind, pacing wise.
Okay.
So what does that news do for you?
It just makes me wonder how far ahead, because right now we're in season 5. Manga wise, they're probably season 7, 8.
And that's the thing again. Like I don't like if they. It's hard to tell because like there was quite a few chapters that talked about the class 1A versus 1B kind of plot line, but again, that's kind of like a mini plot line. Mm-hmm. And I honestly have a feeling that they're probably gonna have several smaller plot lines and then one bigger plot line, because there is a bigger plot line that is going to be coming up after the mock battles. So, and I feel like that's probably going to be the main focus.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll probably have, like some smaller things here and there, maybe like the larger plot line, and then maybe like another smaller plot line, because they are kind of like splicing that here and there. Because honestly, with the end of this most recent arc, I wouldn't be surprised if that was season 6 territory. And honestly, with the final act begins, I'm wondering if that's going to be maybe the end of season 6, because this most recent arc was nuts. It had a lot packed into it. So I'm kind of wondering if that's going to be season 6, and then maybe after that will be season 7.
Mm-hmm.
Or unless they squeeze everything into season 5, and then they'll have where I'm at right now, the end of season 5, which I highly doubt that. I really highly doubt that. The anime production team, their decision to do one season a year has been so beneficial. It's been so beneficial to this series as a whole. Just letting the manga have time to breathe and really just get those ideas and that story out there, so that way the anime has plenty of time to catch up to it. Because we saw that with Black Clover, where what happens when you don't let the manga breathe and you have the anime catch up too far. The anime is gonna have some filler episodes.
Hate it.
Dragon Ball Super was honestly the perfect example of this as well. Because I liked Dragon Ball Super. I definitely didn't hate it. I really enjoyed it. But when you go back and you watch it a second time and you have to be critical of it, you're like, they could have done better here. They could have cut this out. They could have just done this. That entire 10 minutes could have just cut it. It was not relevant to what they were talking about whatsoever. But you kind of saw that with Dragon Ball Super, where because they had the weekly manga, or the monthly manga rather, they had the manga, and then the anime caught up to it during the Universe 6 tournament, and then they started to kind of diverge, and then you saw the manga trying to play catch up to the anime, where the pacing of the manga significantly sped up, and you were just what, the pacing just feels off. I don't like it. And as soon as they put a pause on the anime, and they've let the manga breathe, the most recent arc they had out, the Moro arc, freaking amazing arc. The newest arc that they have right now, people are calling it the Granola arc, I think. I don't know what the official title of this arc is, but so far I haven't been disappointed with this most recent arc either, because they've been letting it breathe. They've been letting the series do its thing. It doesn't have to catch up to anything. They're just letting it be itself. And honestly, they're letting the manga for My Hero do the same thing. So I have a lot of high expectations for this season.
I'm glad you do, because I was about to say right now, it just started off kind of for me. I know that it can pick up, I know that it can be good and everything like that, but it never started off too great. I definitely want to see more of what the big three has to offer, and I definitely want to see if my prediction as far as All Might dying, or if somebody else, I want to see if somebody else dying or something like that's going to kind of come out in this season.
My boy Mirio.
Yeah. And this actually kind of wraps up the time that we have with All Things Gaming, All Day Anime. But I do want to make sure that we're getting our hidden gem in there, and also our fantasy deathmatch question in there for next week. Last week's anime question, let me pull that up. As you want to talk about our hidden gem there.
Absolutely. So this week our hidden gem is Id Invaded. If you haven't checked that out, please do. It's actually really good. So the anime takes place in a world where investigators have the power to tap into a killer's unconscious and see fragmented parts of their psyche. This is referred to as an id well, a mental plane that can be digitally entered to collect clues regarding a killer's victims, crime scenes, and motives. As one traverses through the Idwell, their sights and actions appear as digital projections in the real world for investigators to analyze in real time. since a person's unconscious thoughts are rarely organized, everything within the id, including the people and locations, will appear in a fractured or symbolic state. It can only be temporarily put together by somebody investigating the id well. Additionally, idwells state. Idwells can only be entered by victims or other killers. While it is possible to get hurt and die in an idwell, the well traveler can simply be removed and re-injected into the well again, though all previous memories from their time in there will be lost. I love the concept for this. The concept for this story is absolutely amazing. It is exactly what I love in a series, which is that it literally just hands you pieces of a bigger puzzle,
literally,
and you get to put those pieces together with the characters. Like, the characters don't just assemble this, like, the writers just don't like assemble the pieces together for you. They kind of lay those pieces out, and by the end of whatever story they're trying to tell, they, you'll have a finished piece because, like, you're kind of solving it with them. And the other thing is that it has kind of like a larger plot overall. And it's honestly one of those series that Abs recommended to me. She does a really good job recommending stuff. So I always love watching anime with her. But yeah, this was one that I was really excited for. I loved it so much. And I don't know if there's going to be a season 2, but if there is, I really want to see it.
I put this on the list too because I just watched this morning, actually, just the first episode, and this has been one that I started and kept on getting interrupted, so I never finished the first episode in its entirety. It felt a little slow to me. It felt a little weird to me.
It's gonna feel weird.
But the minute that the last bit, like, as everything's starting to make sense and everything like that. Because the main character itself, like, he doesn't know who he is and stuff like that at the very beginning, but then he ends up finding out who he is after he's, like, kind of figuring out some stuff, and then and he's like the brilliant detective. That's what they call him, is the brilliant detective, and it looks like he's actually helping a futuristic police station, the detective unit that is trying to help him solve these murders and stuff like that, like in this little augmentation. He's kind of helping them out in the real world, and they're able to find out different like where the killer is and stuff like that, because it's dealing with serial killers. But the way that it ended, which I'm not gonna spoil for you guys, because I thought it was very interesting how the first episode ended, to the point where I was just like, okay, I want to go back and watch the episode 2. Like, it was very, very unique, very interesting there, and I think that you guys would like it. So this may be a hidden gem. I know I talked to Gravity about it today. Didn't realize that he finished the whole thing when we talked about it. But yeah, he likes it. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to see if I like it. Go from there.
Man, I'm going to get a text from you, and you're going to be like, man, this show was dookie. I didn't like it. You know what? No, honestly, yours is going to be like, it was okay. Like, I liked it here and there. But honestly, like, I think you're really going to like it. It is honestly really good. This was, if I'm not mistaken, a series that was, like, premiering, like, I think the last episode loop was interrupted by the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So that was something that we had to wait for, like, ever for the last episode to come out. But it is really good. It is really good. Yeah. It's real trippy. Super fun.
Last week's our celebrity death match, or our fantasy death match, was between Tanjiro from Demon Slayer and Rurouni Kenshin. If that fight were to take place, who do you think would win?
You know what? Honestly, again, this is just one of those really difficult questions. I mean, honestly, just because it's, first of all, like, I haven't seen Rurouni Kenshin in so long. It has literally been years since I have seen this series.